He was arrested on 11th January 2012. And just a couple of days before that, I spoke with him. And that was the last time, because we are not allowed to speak with him because he's in the hospital prison cell in Dhaka. My brother and my mother are able to see him for half an hour every fortnight. So that's it.
Now, the court has found him guilty of 5 charges, including mass killing and rape during the War of Independence. I mean, they're very serious charges, aren't they?
Yes, very, very serious charges. Absolutely, yes. But, all I can say is that this is a political trial. Any international body, international lawyers organization or human rights organization, every organization has said that this court and this tribunal doesn't follow the proper process of justice, and the accused are not given the rights that they should have. In terms of the allegations against him, the rape issue didn't come, but incitement to murder. I mean, if you have been able to see the verdict, the judges said that the prosecution has not been able to prove his direct involvement in any of the atrocities, yet they come up with this bizarre sentence of 90 years in jail. And one of them was a conspiracy because he met the then, general, Pakistan Army general. Well, any politician can see an army general, but they did not produce any evidence that he was conspiring in that meeting. There was just a photograph of him meeting and other political leaders meeting the general.
I mean, this goes back. It goes back so far. It goes back to 1971. So you could say memories are fallible, except, of course, your father's 90 years old. So in 1971, he was a great deal stronger and more vital than he is now. What was his actual involvement?
Well, if you know the context of that war, I mean, before the war, actually, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the current prime minister, his party was elected as the overall majority party in the whole Pakistan, and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was supposed to be the prime minister of whole Pakistan. But unfortunately, there was conspiracies and he was not allowed to take power. After that, my father, Awami League and its allies, they went to this independence war. But my father's party thought that this is not the way to solve the problem, because they felt that if you want to be independent from Pakistan, you have to take India's help. So what will happen is there's a slavery that we have from Rawalpindi will be transferred to New Delhi. So he wanted a political solution and not a military solution to this problem. So his role was, his party was very, very small. I mean, the party didn't win a single seat in the election. So they just, politically opposed it, and they supported United Pakistan. But what this tribunal is trying to do, I mean, there were 195 identified war criminals who were just let go by the Sheikh Mujib government. And the main perpetrators were the Pakistani army, but no one talks about them. After 40 years, even after independence, there was no case even filed against my father. But suddenly, after 14 years, they remember that, yes, he was a war criminal, and he was. And the bizarre thing, another bizarre thing is, they accuse him of being the mastermind of everything, or superior responsibility is the term, or command responsibility is the term used by the judges, whereas he never held any position in any government, any military, any paramilitary forces. Yet they come up with these conclusions. It's really, really bizarre.
So why? I mean, why do you think that, in your view, your father's been targeted?
It's political, absolutely political. I mean, my father's party, I mean, of course, my father retired from active politics in year 2000, so around 13 years ago. But his party is a kingmaker in Bangladeshi politics, and because of that, Awami League often finds it difficult to win not only general elections but even in local elections. Even recently, I mean, the ruling party lost in 5 city corporation elections at a massive margin, and the reason is Jamaat Islami and the Nationalist Party in Bangladesh, when they are together, Awami League finds it very, very difficult. So they want to actually just get the opposition weaker, make the opposition weaker. I mean, even within the current Awami League government, the current Home Minister, is alleged to have been recruiters of the paramilitary forces during 1971. Now, he is the Home Minister and no one is telling anything about him. Just only the opposition leaders are under trial. Even the current Prime Minister's daughter's father-in-law is accused of being a Razakar, an active member in the paramilitary forces. So you see how politically motivated this trial is.
You're telling us is incredibly one-sided. But I mean, that said, that somewhere, surely there has to be a foundation for these charges. There had to be something that your father said that could be used against him in any court, however flawed the process may have been.
Well, they did use a lot of his statements as as incitement to murder. But as if you follow the law procedure, the law says that these are crimes against humanity are very, very specific charges. That is murder, rape, and arson attacks on innocent civilians who are not part of any conflict. Now, his statements were all about united Pakistan, and there were strong statements about Pakistan. I said that we want our country to be united, but the prosecution said and brought some newspaper statement that he incited murder through these statements, but they did agree themselves that none of his statements led to any particular murder or attack on any individual during that time. So it's just based on statements which has no base. I can give you one example which actually summarizes what this tribunal. My father is the number 5, the fifth count of charge against my father is he wrote a letter to get one individual murdered, and so on the basis of his letter someone was murdered and he was given 30 years of jail because of that. That letter was never produced in the court. Not only that individual's any relative, no one was produced, but yet the judges said that he is guilty of this, whereas the letter has not been produced. So you can understand that they went beyond the ability you cannot even call it a court. It's just a kangaroo trial, and which just was created to get the opposition weaker.